Drumstep is sometimes known as halftime and is a combination of drum and bass and halftime dubstep, but with the continued use of wubs and tempo. It would have made sense to talk about drum and bass before drumstep, so we'll just talk about it now. Drum and bass, as the name entails, is often characterized by fast-paced drum lines, strong bass, and sub-bass lines. Both drum and bass and drumstep often run anywhere between 160 to 180 BPM. For tracks that are halftime, you may also see that some tracks are listed at around 87 BPM, which when multiplied by 2 gets you 174. Hashtag quick maths. I hope I haven't bored you all to death. Recess is almost among us, so we will cruise control through the last couple of main genres. Hardstyle is a genre that is often dictated by a track around 150 BPM with compressed drum kicks and reverse bass that is sometimes used on the off portion of the kick. Hardstyle also uses dissonant synths and distorted sounds to support the track. Now that's cool and all, but let's be honest, we all know hardstyle because of the kong or the bong. The kong and the bong are pretty interchangeable. Hardcore is the same as hardstyle but faster, reaching tempos of 170 BPM. Happy hardcore is the same as hardcore but often in a major key and with more instruments added like pianos to give a more happier and lighter mood. UK hardcore is the same as happy hardcore but with a thick kick. And finally, hard dance is a crossover of Euro dance and hard trance. What's important to remember is that there are strong synths, percussion, and generally happier melody. There are sometimes, but not always, the inclusion of the memorable kong as well. Because we're on the topic of different types of hardcore, we should also quickly cover trance and psytrance. Trance is often seen as the more melodic approach to techno and can range anywhere from 125 to 150 BPM. There's often a lot of repetition that is meant to build slowly over time with a long opening and closing. The idea of the genre, as the name states, is to get you to blend into a state of hypnotism, or for a lack of better words, a trance. Meanwhile, on the border of hardcore and trance is psytrance. Often categorized with tracks around 135 to 150 BPM, have very quick and repetitive beats and bass rhythms that often also accompanies the track with a lot of layering that either comes with drums or synths. And we are finally down to about the last 5-ish genres. Glitch hop is a subgenre of glitch that derives off of the aesthetic of failure. Who knew they could turn my life into an aesthetic? Sounds could include skipping CDs, hardware noises, and distortion or system errors. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Robotaki. Glitch hop infuses elements of hip hop like sweeps, beats, and bit crushing. The common tempo for glitch hop also comes at around 110 BPM. Reggaeton is a mix of house music and reggaeton that include characteristics like thick and spread out bass lines, as well as dramatic builds and quick drum fills that enrave synths. The usual tempo comes at around 108 BPM, but it has been seen by many producers that there can be adaptations made for even faster speeds. Chill out can often be related to chill or downtempo music. Easy as the genre states it's to chill, I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. And finally, the last two genres we will look at. Alternative dance, also known as indie dance, is basically alternative, indie rock, and electronic beats and synths taking on an electropop, house, and a bit of hip-hop. It also takes on quite a bit of inspiration, sometimes from R&B, depending on what part of the indie spectrum you listen to. As for new disco, it's basically a more modern version of disco house that is synthesizer heavy and was quite popular in the early 2000s, but not so much now. Anyways, hope this serves as a dummy's guide to genres. At first I was going to be a lot more analytical, but I wanted this video to be entertaining, and personally I am not really that invested when it comes to being accurate to genres, as some could probably see. I guess a small life lesson from the Panda: no matter the genre of the track, you should judge a track on whether or not you like it. If you're the kind of person to start up a genre fight, then you're neglecting the attention, positive or negative, that the track should deserve. I guess just one more thing: for every time Going Quantum would label a track electronic, just know that he's not wrong. All EDM can be classified nearly as electronic, and maybe rather than trying to classify music, we should enjoy it for what it is. Hashtag genre equality. Anyways, that is all from me. Comment your favorite genre. Mine is open world platformer. All my students are now out for recess, and I'll see you all later. Bye.